Gonna start it. You'll do your introduction and go from there, I guess.
Oh no, there's no. We're
No
already
introduction.
yeah, we're already recording. There's no introduction to this. This podcast doesn't have levels to it. It doesn't have a what's it called structure.
Oh, okay. That's fine. It's better than the last time, talking about the podcast on the podcast type stuff. Like,
Oh my god, that was a me and Jem did that like for half of the episodes.
and that's understandable. I would talk about things like in my early videos. I would talk about things that I realized after the fact people weren't really that interested in. You're interested in what you're doing, so it's very interesting to you.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's very interesting to me. Hence why I think I'm the only person sometimes that listens to an episode.
Yeah, well, at least you're getting some fulfillment about it. I think it's unhealthy to focus too much on what other people want, but it's sort of a balance. 'Cause you want to find success.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I watch so many old clips of comedians that I like, or talk show hosts, and I see kind of like the little, or not even the little, like just the big like ins and outs that they obviously did to climb that like entertainment ladder. Like just the dumb commercials that they wouldn't even think of doing now, or the dumb promos, or the events they went to that they wouldn't even think about doing now, but they did them back in the day because they wanted to get to whatever level of success they're at now.
Oh yeah, I can understand that. I spent a good amount of time, like about half a year, in the pro wrestling business. I think I've mentioned this to you in the past.
Yes.
You see a lot of that there when you've seen people who are basically working for nothing, and then you see some of them get to TV. And I've seen plenty of people who I used to film make their way there, and like I don't expect them to turn back.
Yeah, no, it's just weird. It's so I don't I just can't I can't do it. You know, I wouldn't be able to do the whole shtick or whatever. Not with like wrestling. I would totally do. That's not a shtick. Like that's like actually people loving to put on a character and everything and doing their thing. I just mean more like it's just it's so like grimy. Just when like you see some of the ins and outs behind the curtain kind of stuff. Where it's like,
Yeah.
that just, and I'm not saying like, oh, if I did that, I'd be fucking crushing. No, I'd probably still not be. I just wouldn't. I just can't. It's just so like, just like, really, I have to be nice to Susan with the clipboard. Like, what the fuck does she know about anything? Like, why is she the gatekeeper? It's so, I can't. I understand that's so like fucking 18-year-old personality kind of trait of mine, but I just can't. It's just weird.
I understand it. I absolutely do. It's really hard to balance staying true to yourself when you're working within a system. That's kind of something that I found appealing about YouTube, that you could sort of be yourself and do your thing. At least in the early days when I was watching it and I was first aspiring to be a YouTuber professionally, I was one of the early kids watching like some of the early names. And I had no idea how much temptation there is to kind of fall into the same song and dance that everybody else is. Like I never did a sponsorship, but it's very tempting.
True. Now, have you been offered sponsorships?
I've had I'm not going to say anybody specifically, but I've been approached.
Okay. Anything like
And
worth your
and
while? Like you actually were on the fence because it was like worth it a lot, or you just it was like, nah, it's not even worth it. I'm not gonna do this.
nothing huge. They wouldn't have been like amazing paydays, but they are things that cause me to think about what I would do if I were offered those things. And there's plenty of opportunity to actually network for yourself. And is it something that I want to reach out to people and get? And I never ended up doing it, but as the money started to dry up after kind of peaked rather early. I spent a little bit of time thinking about that. Like, what do I do? Do I try to get as much as I can out of this before I kind of burn out?
Do you feel burnt out now with the YouTube videos you make?
Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with the situation. I
I saw that
haven't
you're
made a
eating.
video.
I saw that you were eating Polish candy a few months ago.
I haven't made a video since June 26th.
Was that really? Hold
I
on.
went from like,
Videos? Yeah, 3 months. Three. Okay. Is that, and is that, yeah, that is uncommon for you. I'm looking at, right?
yeah. I made a video that was entitled "My quote taking a break" video.
Oh, jeez.
Because it's such a YouTube cliche to make a video called "Taking a Break" because every YouTuber gets burnt out or whatever, and they disappear for a while, and they make a big dramatic thing about it. And it felt stupid. I kind of wanted to just disappear and just not tell anybody. Uh, but I feel sort of obligated to give my feelings on that stuff. So I told everybody I was feeling burnt out and I had been for a while, and that I'm basically not going to come back unless I have something I'm proud of.
Oh, wow. Um, what were the, so when you say burnt out, what, anything specifically that burnt you out?
So I think it's because of I accidentally got big doing content that I wasn't going to really be super passionate about to begin with. It's interesting from the early days on YouTube. I had a couple failed attempts to do YouTube. I first started when I was in like middle school and I was making music using like GarageBand or whatever, and it wasn't very good. That didn't really go anywhere. I did another channel later on where I did like anime reviews. So I would watch an episode and give my feelings every week, and that did it was a fun little hobby, and that did okay. It got like 1,500 subs on that channel, and now it's gone. So I was embarrassed of it, so I got rid of it.
You just straight
That's
destroyed it.
I made that in high school, of course. Like you, everybody's embarrassed of what they did.
100%. Except like that guy who threw a touchdown pass that one time.
Oh, of course. uh, but from then on, I was sort of struggling for a long time to find my identity as a creator. I knew I wanted to be a YouTuber. I was like one of the first generations of kids who was thinking like, I don't want to be anything else when I grow up. I want to be a YouTuber because that was still such a novel idea that you could do that for a living. But I took a break after the anime review channel. I dabbled in some projects with my friends. We got into backyard wrestling, which there are still videos of that out there.
Wait, what? No, I gotta see these. What do you mean there's videos of you backyard wrestling?
I'll
DM me or something?
Okay, I'll tell you. It's
Oh, okay. Oh shit.
it was called Next Level Backyard Wrestling. I played a character called. I know this is a huge diversion from your question, but we will.
Dude, this podcast should just be renamed Diversion.
I want to like take you through the journey, and I think it actually starts here with backyard wrestling. We got into backyard wrestling, and the funny thing about it, like the first episode, I was just myself doing commentary for my friends because nobody else knew how to edit or do commentary, so I did it myself. Then we had a problem where we couldn't get enough people to show up to wrestle. I took on a character. I didn't know how to wrestle, so I created a character called the 1 Minute Man.
It's unreal.
And it was I was watching the anime One Punch Man, and that character beats every character in one punch. So I thought I'd make like the reverse of that character, make the ultimate loser. He's like really full of himself, and he thinks he's gonna beat all his opponents in 1 minute, but he ends up losing in 1 minute.
Did you have long hair?
Did. Yeah, I've
I'm looking at it now. This is great.
Oh, that, and there are very few videos of me with long hair from that time, but it was stupid because we couldn't really. I originally thought we were going to be like anybody who's dabbled in like backyard wrestling videos on YouTube may have seen Grimm's Toy Show, where it's sort of guys joking around and using wrestling as the format. Some of the other guys wanted it to be a little more serious, and I'm like, I don't know if we can make backyard wrestling serious. So it never ended up being all that good.
Well, I mean, you kind of look like Roman Reigns in the video I'm looking at. But dude, how old are you again, Bradley?
I'm 26 right now. I don't remember how old I was at the time.
Brady. I think I called you Bradley. Brady.
Yeah.
You're 26, you said? Do you remember the video game Backyard Wrestling?
Yes, I do. I think I played the second one. I don't know if I ever had the first one.
Oh, I had the first one, my man, and then it made me want to get the second one because it was fucking. It opened my eyes to this thing that like people do. Like you had a ring and everything. Like the people that game was based off of were like people that did backyard wrestling with legit tables, the long fluorescent light bulbs, thumbtacks, like legit getting seriously hurt. And then they pair that up with ICP, which was also people getting seriously hurt. And it was just,
oh yeah,
those games were fucking amazing. I loved those games. I had them. I think they were both PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah, as like wrestling games, they don't hold up super well, but as kind of like generic fighting games, they're okay. Like they remind me more of like the Def Jam games. I don't know if you remember those.
No.
Def Jam fighting game, like Def Jam Vendetta, where you have just a bunch of rappers basically doing that.
Well, I remember Mortal Kombat made a Wu-Tang Clan edition. I think it was called like the Rumble or something, and that was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Yeah. Whose place were you at? There's a like with the ring. Like whose backyard at this age? Like you guys had a ring in the backyard.
So one of the guys in there, he had a friend who wanted to wrestle initially.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't end up actually participating in that, so I can't really put him out there. He didn't really want to be a wrestler after we started getting close to it, like after we built the ring and all that.
Yeah, I hate to cut you off one more time, but like, I know I said you look like Roman Reigns. You look like Osama bin Laden. I mean, did you see your beard in one of these videos? Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't watch them anymore because it's weird.
True.
I don't watch any of my old stuff, but that was actually a fun way of getting into actual professional wrestling because one of my friends who did the backyard wrestling, he ended up going to get trained professionally. He went to one wrestling school and then he ended up going to another one for a company called Extreme Wrestling Alliance, which is the one that I would end up being the camera guy for their weekly show. So at my job, they were at the time I was working in childcare. They were giving away complimentary tickets to their upcoming event, which had Rey Mysterio in the main event. And if anybody knows professional wrestling, Rey Mysterio's kind of a big deal. This was like their big event of the year. They bring in a lot of popular guys to get people in the door. So I brought all my backyard wrestling friends, and one of them ended up going to the wrestling school that company had, which was run by The Kingdom, which is a tag team from Ring of Honor. If anybody who's familiar with wrestling, at the time they were like the number 2 company in the United States. Now they're like maybe 4. I don't know. But at the time, that was a big deal. And they had Matt Taven, Vinny Marseglia, Mike Bennett, who was in WWE at the time. He was one of the teachers. And my friend went to learn from them. And I decided I wanted to go to a training. Originally, I didn't think I would ever want to be a wrestler. And it turned out I didn't actually. So I only went to one. But it was a really interesting experience, and when it was over, I told the guy in charge, like, I don't think this is for me, but if you need any help with anything, if there's any work to be done behind the scenes or whatever, and you need an extra hand, I'm here. He tells me if you stick around long enough, then maybe we'll have something for you. And that's sort of how I got in the door. I just kind of showed up to their weekly events, which weren't like these big things. They were like a small thing in the school, maybe 50 regular fans who would show up and sit in the same spot every single week to watch mostly students wrestle each other. Which was it was cool. They had a really cool aesthetic. If you want to see what the place looks like, it was called the Extreme Wrestling Alliance. Extreme is spelled with an X.
Of course it is.
And no E.
Oh my god.
Because they were founded in the year 2000, and that's what it was like at the time.
Extreme Wrestling Alliance.
There's a few Extreme Wrestling Alliances.
I was gonna say, I'm sure
I would type in the official XWA.
Official
one word.
XWA.
I believe that one would come
Oh
up.
yeah,
That's
that
what
comes
they
up.
looked
Yeah.
up.
Wow. Oh my god.
So their most recent thing is
This is actually real.
one that I'm very. Oh yeah, a lot of people who worked for them are on TV now. Like I said, a lot of them are working with AEW, which is now like the #2 wrestling company. A lot of the people who came up through the school, even like these aren't people who had already made names and then got on TV. A lot of these people were built from the ground up in this place. Just as I was going in, a guy named Austin Theory was on his way out, and just recently, I don't know if he currently is, but he was the WWE's United States champion not that long ago.
Really?
So they were doing their thing, and so while I was just kind of hanging out in the audience, doing my thing, and eventually I got called at like midnight, and the guy who was in charge of the place wanted me to come in and wanted me to come to his restaurant because he owned a restaurant. He was like he was a very Italian dude, so I felt like I was going to get killed because it felt like, oh, he's running a wrestling company. Maybe he has mob connections because I feel like wrestling doesn't pay the bills. Maybe that's how he funds this. I always had that suspicion.
Hey, why don't you take a seat here, kid?
I don't actually think that at this stage, but at the time I was like, this guy might genuinely have mob connections.
Why don't you miss this swanton bomb, or take one for the team, eh? Or maybe something will happen to your legs.
Yeah, I went to his restaurant at midnight, and he said that the old camera guy's out. They had an issue between them. That's their business and not really mine to talk about. But he was out, and the guy said that I'm in. Basically, I have no real experience with a camera except for like the little YouTube stuff I'd done beforehand, and now I'm the only camera guy on their weekly show. I don't do the pay-per-views. They bring in like professionals who do like live video to do that. But I'm going to be doing the weekly show where the students wrestle. So a lot of the footage, like the poorly color-corrected footage from the last couple years, was filmed by me. Though I would say I did get better in the more recent stuff.
That's cool. Are you having more fun doing that now?
So they're gone now.
Oh my god.
So I did that for a good chunk of 2019. And then I decided to leave and go to grad school. I hadn't been getting paid for this because I never asked to be paid. I was doing it because I thought it was fun.
You were doing all that for free?
I just really liked being there. I loved wrestling as much as anybody there, and I just thought it was a fun thing to do. I had no expectation for being paid. When I left...
Man, that Italian guy saw you coming a mile away.
Yeah.
I'll pay you with some
when I
galamad,
left, I asked for just enough money to pay for the rest of the laptop that I was trying to get because I'd been editing these videos on a really, really old iMac that like catches on fire anytime I try to edit anything with more than 2 files in it. It's just
Yeah.
uh, so he gave me the exact amount of money I wanted, and I still believe to this day if I asked for more, he would have given me more. I just wasn't aggressive enough.
That's right. I mean, you
And
at least asked.
yeah. So then I left to do grad school, and then COVID hit not too long into that. So I ended up using the new computer to start the YouTube channel.
Why didn't you, when you started your YouTube channel, the Social Stud one, why did you do Social Stud? Why didn't you make, do different types of content for wrestling?
I didn't own any of the wrestling footage, and I didn't know how to put on a wrestling show myself, though I always thought it would be cool to try. You gotta remember that this all started at the beginning of COVID. There were no wrestling events. There's no way of collecting new footage, and a lot of the wrestling companies around here ended up going out of business during COVID. There wasn't really much to work with.
Yeah, I definitely
Um,
can see
I
that.
start
Places like that not making any more money.
Yeah, and they barely made it. They made it through the pandemic and then decided to sort of close on their own terms. They still do their pay-per-views, but the weekly shows don't happen anymore. So
True.
I started the YouTube channel kind of on a whim because we're all stuck inside. It felt more like a true quarantine than what it ended up being. People actually didn't really want to leave their house for a while at first. Um, After a while, it was just whatever, and people just slapped on the mask, or often didn't, and just did their thing. But during these early stages, I was a good boy. I didn't leave the house much. I needed something to do, and I didn't actually think about. I wanted to make like these complex video essays that sort of related to my history stuff. But I ended up on a whim doing a handful of reaction videos, and the channel grew faster than any of my other channels in the past had, and it sort of took on a life of its own, which I was happy with at the time. You sort of, in those early stages, become addicted to the numbers. You see them going up, and every single increase, every single sub, every single like or whatever, it feels amazing. It's like a drug. It's like any sort of dopamine rush to get that experience. And at the time, I didn't really care what I was doing. I just saw that it was working. And it's not like I wasn't having any fun at all. The videos were easy to make. I got to consume material that I already enjoyed, and I got to do it on camera and sort of build a community around that. I had no idea that I was going to get sick of the React format after about a year. But every single time I tried to branch out and do something else, it didn't work. And once the views started to dry up, which is totally my fault why the views started to dry up, but like I did something that caused that. So my channel blew up the most because of a video. It was a reaction to, I'm trying to think of what it was. Bill Wurtz's History of the Entire World, I guess. It's a very popular history video.
Yeah. He's only made, I think, 2 videos or something like that, and he's never come back. I think something about like the history of Japan and the history of the world.
Yeah. Well, I did the one on the history of the world, and I was one of the few who was selected by YouTube to get shoved down people's throats for a minute.
Oh, you mean like your thing was getting recommended to a bunch of people via the algorithm?
I believe that video got, I don't remember the exact number. I think it got close to like 300,000 in the short time that it was up.
I will tell you the exact number right now, sir. I don't have a producer, but I have myself.
Oh, it's the video's gone. That's kind of the thing. You're not going to find it.
What are you doing? What are you, Brady? What is this?
It got to like 300,000 or whatever, and I was getting hundreds and hundreds of subs a day
Oh, that's
when that
awesome.
video was popping. And that was as fast as I'd ever grown. The only problem was
Oh.
I was getting a little bit of negative attention because that video was freaking terrible. And it was probably the most off my game I had ever been
Oh, that's
while
the
talking about
worst.
history.
That's like when Michael
And
Richards' like best stand-up was at the Laugh Factory that one day.
so I'm thinking I'm getting all this attention off of a video that I genuinely hate.
Ah,
And here's the first real problem where I have to pick, like, do I do the right thing? Do I like take this down or retract it or do whatever, even though it's doing well? Do I want people, even though I'm getting a lot of subs off of this, do I want this to be what people see me for? And I eventually made the call to take the video down.
oof. Did you private it or did you actually just straight delete it?
I've now deleted it. I just never want to see it again.
But you originally put it on private.
I originally unlisted it, so I don't know why I chose that in case instead of listing it. I don't know. It just felt right at the time. And I made a second video where I kind of like talked about a lot of the things I got wrong in the first video, and that video did okay. That one was fine, but from getting rid of the video that was doing well, of course, the subs quickly slowed down.
Yeah.
And after that, and I still don't regret it. I just regret that video. I just regret not being on my game for that one. And that's sort of the unfortunate call that I feel like I'm still struggling to be able to make every time I have something that I think, like every time I make a statement that I think's like really ignorant or whatever. Because we all do it, but if I'm trying to be an educator of some kind, do I have to hold myself to a higher standard than that? It's not the same as just any vlogger saying something that's wrong.
Yeah, hey, how's it going?
It's like, yeah, but like all I have as a history major is my credibility. If people are like, "Oh, that's the guy who made that video where he got all that stuff wrong,"
I don't think you have to
credibility's
worry
gone.
about that though, bro, because now people today don't even fucking believe in doctors or teachers or any. I mean, for good reason for some of them. But like, I don't think, dude, people are gonna believe you or not believe you regardless. Like, you could literally have like a 250 IQ, which I think is impossible. Like, you could have that, and there's gonna be still like 39 to 57% of the population that's like, yeah, that guy don't know shit. He don't know. He ain't been around my block. He hasn't seen the things I've seen. So like, I don't think you have to worry about that, honestly, man.
Yeah, but at the time, that's all I could think about. So, and
True.
just to, because I couldn't get it out of my head, I needed to private it or unlist it because I needed peace of mind. It regardless, whatever the rational me thinks when I'm not dealing with that, at the time, it was bugging me.
Right. Do you remember what your sub count was before that video and what it was after you made it not public anymore?
It's a good question. Maybe if I pull up my analytics, I can see like the spike. Because that
Do you think maybe it was around half of your subs? Because you're at almost 28,000 now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I
Oh,
might
I'm
have
sorry,
been
26.
closer to the. Oh, they've changed the YouTube studios
I wonder if
since
that stupid thing, Social Blade, still. Remember
spend
Social
more time in
Blade?
it. Yeah, it's still a thing.
Oh, really? God, I used
Yeah.
to follow that from my channel too. I get what you're saying about the like just getting burnt out and everything.
Yeah.
Do you think though? Hold on, let me here's Social Blade. I don't know how to fucking look through this. You're still getting Tuesday 44 subs, Wednesday 36. You're still getting 30, 40 plus subs a day. That's really good, dude.
Thing is, I'm losing as many as I'm gaining on any day. I'm
Wait,
actually
I'm
going
sorry. These are
nowhere.
video views. I'm an idiot. See, this is why I shouldn't talk ever. This is also a
I,
different YouTuber's channel. I'm really stupid. Fucking Christ.
um,
I don't fucking know, man. I don't know how this shit
I don't
works.
know
I
either.
really, really don't. Do you think though, because I'm looking at your video views, right? The recent ones before you quit, and compared to your heyday, it's like the dark side of the moon. Like you're just getting a few hundred views per video,
Yeah.
compared to tens of thousands. Some of them 100+ thousand. Do you think that if you were still getting the high amount of views, would you still be going? Would you not even be feeling that burnt out effect?
That's a very good question. And it's hard to put myself in that mindset because when it's happening so fast, it's like a high.
Yeah.
And when you're getting like I'm looking at the Social Blade right now, like there's a period where I got like over 2,000 subs in a month, which is really good for me. Uh, but if I don't know. I feel like it would keep me going a little longer, but I feel like it would just prolong the inevitable. Eventually, I would have to look myself in the mirror and see the content that I'm making and realize I don't really like it. And I'm not anti React video at this stage. I haven't gone fully the other direction. I just think other people do it so much better than me, and that's not the thing I want to make. I want to make something that's like not sort of assembly line content, the stuff that you can make every single day. I want to make like big ambitious projects that I don't know if I'm actually capable of doing because clearly I've still not put one out. But I always felt like I was going to do more than just be a reactor. I'm just another person in a format that's just kind of doing its thing. Like there's a million people just like me in the way that I've been doing things. There's nothing that really distinguishes me.
What would be a big time project if you were to put one out? Would be something you would want to work at?
I'm working I've been working on one right now and I want to take on historical subjects that have not been taken on YouTube. The thing is like every history channel they'll have like their American Revolution video or whatever or their
Don't you
Civil War
dare make
video.
fun of
And they're just doing this.
oversimplified right now. Don't you dare. I love his
Oh,
channel.
oversimplified's great.
I know.
And
And I know you've
actually
reacted to him. He's awesome.
he's wonderful. His subjects are really good because they're the ones that people care about, but I'd like to take on things that people know a little less. I have one that I'm working on right now that may or may not see the light of day. Uh, I have so much of the script done. It's like over an hour of material and I'm going to have to trim it down. It's on the Bonded Vault Heist is what it's called.
See, I don't even know what that is.
And it's a local event where so I'm from Rhode Island and
Island Boy.
we were run by the mafia for most of the 20th century.
Wow.
The Vault heist is one of the biggest heists in American history that happened in Providence, our state's capital. And I've done so much research on this thing, and I'm trying to come up with some cool, I don't know, animated visuals to really make this look good. If I come out with another video, it's probably going to be something on that.
Okay, and now you've done a ton of research on that. Are now, real quick, going back to your current videos on Social Stud, are there videos that you're proud of and happy of on that channel? Like you're like, oh wow, that was a really good video.
I think so.
You think so?
I don't.
Oh, you
I don't
don't?
think so.
Oh, really?
I can't. The fact that you ask that and I can't really think of one video in particular. because the format, it's so generic that they all kind of merge together in my mind. It was just like doing the same thing every day, even though I was taking on different subjects. It got so monotonous, like nothing
Okay.
was different.
Yeah, and I asked that because, I mean, if there was something, and then you have all this research about this one topic you want to talk about, I'm sure in your mind you would make a good video. But now, does part of that make you nervous that like you possibly in your mind have not made something that you liked, so you're afraid of even working on this project because at the end of the day you might not even like how it finally comes out?
Yeah, I spent a couple months not doing anything, and I think I kind of needed to just not do anything. And I took a break. Um, I got passionate about this subject rather suddenly and really picked it up this month, and I've been doing nothing but reading books on it. Uh, it feels good having that sort of passion for a subject, but I feel like all the other stuff, what other people have done, really. And I want to make something original. And I guess that's something that a lot of reactors I've seen in the past, they get stuck in their little bubble of React stuff, and it's hard to get out. Like I'll see them make other videos
Oh, they're
that
trapped.
are really good,
They're
but they don't.
trapped. They're trapped.
I've seen some people who are like musicians who do reactions to music like stuff, and then you see their original music and it's good, but nobody's watching it.
Yeah, it's they're trapped. You're actually in a good spot where like you're bailing out because you don't want to do it, and no one wants, dude. Everyone that does a reaction video, unless like you're the top of the 1% and the 1%, none of them want to do it. No one wants to do reactionary videos for 20 plus years. That's a hell on earth that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. So the fact that you're leaving that is, I think at least, is a good idea.
Yeah. I feel like I'd be more proud of it if I left when I was doing well and I didn't wait till I was not doing well, because now it feels like
It looks like
I'm
you're
bailing
bailing.
for
Yeah,
that reason.
it does. Yeah.
But it's just like the blinders are off at that point. So once you're not distracted by the numbers and you can really look at what you're doing, it kind of removes the biases.
Do you think?
So I
Yeah, go ahead.
oh go ahead.
I was just gonna because with this
That was about
project,
it.
yeah, with this project that's coming up, or that you might not even see the light of day, like you said. What really stops you though with that? Is it your personal feelings on the project and how it comes out, or are you wondering how other people are gonna think of it when they see it?
It's a good question. I am afraid that I'll just put it out and nobody will care. I want to do this just for me, but I wouldn't be putting videos out if I didn't care what people think. And if people make YouTube videos and they pretend that they don't care what people think, they're probably a liar, because you wouldn't be on a platform putting yourself up, putting yourself out to knows how many people if you were just doing it for yourself. There are plenty of artists who paint and never put their stuff in a gallery and they still enjoy it. But if you try to put something on a platform that's sole purpose is to get people to see it, and I don't believe that you don't care. I care. I think a lot of other people care.
Yeah, the people that say, "Oh no, I just do this because it's just I like it." And it's like, all right, cool. Well, then you don't even have to record it if you like. Why'd you record it? And why'd you put it on a public domain? And why'd you put it on the biggest public domain for people to see it? It's like obviously you want people to see it. But I think you understand that,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah, that's a. I mean, it's easy because like it's easy to say fuck them, just fuck it, do your thing, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But I get what you're saying. It's hard at the same time, especially when like you're
Yeah.
watching it, and in your mind you're like, this is shit. I know it's shit. Fuck.
Yeah. it's just so weird because I feel like I was right there for a minute. I was a YouTuber, and I could say that I accomplished a childhood goal of being a YouTuber. Because at the peak of my views and subs or whatever, I was making a living. I was making not a good living, but it could be considered a job. And I was just doing YouTube. I'd already been laid off from my childcare job during the pandemic, and I wasn't making money any other way. And I was making enough money that I wasn't able to like collect from the unemployment stuff anymore. So this was my job, and childhood me would have probably been proud in theory, but it's sort of like what happens when you get everything you ever wanted and like all your problems aren't necessarily fixed. Because you think when you get there, when you cross the finish line, everything's going to be fine. But then when you get there and it's not, that's shocking.
Yeah, it sounds like you gotta do some soul searching, bro. It sounds like you're looking for
Absolutely.
some internal happiness that you haven't found yet.
Yeah. Oh, I've been going to therapy. I'm working it out.
Do you take your bird with you?
I wish. Um, it helps.
Do you
It
do you think if your videos, the ones that you were doing, right? If you were still getting the same amount of views, like just a couple hundred per video, which is like very little. However, for some reason, YouTube or someone was paying you enough money for you to live, would you then? Do you think you'd still be doing the videos?
It's difficult to say. Got got very hard once. I How do I even start this? Can't be sure, of course. Because anything could happen under those circumstances, and it would be really cool to say like I'm still a YouTuber and I make a living doing this, and have people be proud of me for that. 'Cause they were proud of me when it was happening. Um, so maybe it would have prolonged it, but like I said earlier, I think inevitably I was going to hit the wall. Like towards the end, I ended up getting a copyright strike that didn't really. It wasn't the nail in the coffin, but it was from a creator that I really liked. I'd been reacting to for a while, and I was like, he didn't just claim it. He gave me a copyright strike. He's mad. Like, why am I even doing this if it's making him mad? It made me look at the content in general, like, oh, am I the bad guy here?
Are we the bodies? Dude, wait, I don't. You did a normal reaction video to someone's content that you've been reacting to in the past, and then out of nowhere,
Yeah.
he just issued a. Did he? Was it? Did you ever get into contact with this guy or girl or whoever it was?
I was
Wasn't oversimplified, was it?
oh no. I think all of his stuff gets claimed, but I think it's his network that does it.
Oh,
It's
so
like
it's
automatic. It would.
it's not really on him specifically. It's just like an auto thing.
And I never really cared about claims. Like the difference between a claim and a strike. A strike can actually hurt your channel.
Yeah.
A claim, it just takes the money.
Yeah,
Oh, I got a
yeah.
strike from this person, and I felt like, oh, I wasn't even mad at them. I felt sad because I wanted them to like me.
but you knew though it wasn't like that person like actually striking your thing. It was just it could have been something automatic. Like it wasn't an actual person looking at your content and striking it, correct?
Oh, it was.
Was what?
It lists whether or not it's done automatically or manually. This one was done manually.
What?
So
What?
they saw it and they got mad
What
or
the?
whatever.
But
Or
why was this in any way different from your other reaction videos?
it might have been the first time they saw one.
True. But if they manually did it, why wouldn't they have also then like went to your channel and saw all the other ones and go, oh well, strike, 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 strike.
Well, shortly after that, I privated the rest of them because if I get 3
True.
strikes,
Yeah.
channel's going down. So I got rid of those as soon as I could
And how big of
because
a
I
content?
didn't want to lose it.
How big of a content creator is this person?
Big.
And they're pretty big, bro.
Big. I would say in like as far as educational content goes, like they're up there.
Yeah, but
And like I'm not mad at them. I was just sort of sad that it happened because I've developed good relationships with a lot of people that I've reacted to. Some like really big channels have reached out to me and said like, "Hey, I like this," and they've invited me into little group chats and stuff. And I've been able to really connect with a lot of these people that I've looked up to. And this one sort of just made me sad.
jeez, the fucking Lars Ulrich of the fucking industry. I mean, did you ever try? Yeah, go ahead.
Like I said, like I started questioning, like maybe I'm in the wrong there. Maybe I should be just doing these videos without reaching out to people. Maybe it's not right. Like I don't know. I don't want to just assume like I'm the good guy in this situation.
Well, real quick, did you ever reach out after the strike to try to contact the person?
I was just embarrassed about it at that point.
Ah,
And
jeez, you were defeated.
I just kind of crawled into my shell.
Oh
It
my
wasn't
God.
what made me quit because I was already thinking about it, and I just needed to make it happen. I kind of was just finishing a lot of the content that I already had going. Like I finished the Let's Plays I was doing. I finished a few my obligations to like the channel members, and then I took a break once I felt like I'd set myself up where I deserved a break, where I had done everything I said I was going to. That's one of the things that kept me from taking a break for a while because I always had something ongoing. And maybe when I finished it, I felt better at the time I finished it. So I would start something new. And then when it hit me again, I'm like halfway through something. I'm like, at least I have to at least finish this. I started something, now I have to finish it.
How long from, in terms of time, like months or maybe even a year plus, did you go through from, okay, I kind of don't like this content anymore, all the way up to you making that I'm taking a break video?
I did a couple. So I'm trying to think how long I was even on YouTube from the beginning. So I started at the beginning of 2020. It was probably about a year in, I started feeling a little bit unsure of myself. But then I kept trying to do little things to make myself feel better, and from time to time, I would feel better. And like I would change things, little things about how I do my content, uh, just enough to make me feel like I was making something slightly better than before. And that's good because I'm growing as a creator in that way. And eventually that culminated in me doing like live streaming. But it was always just kind of forcing myself to go a little bit longer for like at least the last year before that.
True. Real quick, because I'll shoot myself in the head if I don't mention this. Are you playing with like a bottle cap this entire time, or is it like you have this world's squeakiest chair?
Oh, I think that's probably the sound of my bird he's eating. That's like a kind of a crunching sound.
Of course. I was like, what the fuck is that, man?
Yeah. His food bowl's like
All I hear is just
I have a very small space that I share with him.
Well, yeah, that's fair. I mean, you're homeless, so it's okay. You can let your bird eat. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was gonna drive me nuts if I didn't. I was like, I have to ask this. I was like, what is this?
No.
It's been like half an hour.
He's been surprisingly quiet.
Nice,
considering
cool.
how
I think he's listening.
He's in so much trouble recording in the past.
I think he's listening, knowing like, oh, jeez, Dad's not going to be able to afford seeds very soon. I gotta find a way out of here. Someone open a window. What are you doing now then for money?
I got a day job. I work in a museum. It's about how much I'll give it.
No, yeah,
That's kind of it. I love my new job. It's great. And that's another great thing that like I didn't like my job before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up going back to it for a little bit after things reopened, but I think switching to the new job has made it a little easier to make decisions that I have because like, at one point I was making well over $1,000 a month on average. Like on like a bad month, I'd get like $1,000,
Mm-hmm.
which is not good,
Yeah.
but it's more than I ever thought I'd get. I could get by, maybe dip into my savings a little bit. But now that I have like a decent job, I don't really have to worry about the YouTube stuff making money. Making money isn't really the issue. I'm not really worried that I put out this new video and it's not going to make any money. I'm a little worried that it's just going to be a whimper. Because I have people who are accustomed to me making a certain kind of content. That's what they're there for. If I give them something different, it's not really what they signed up for.
Bro,
so inevitably, a lot of them aren't going to care.
Fuck them. You gotta fucking do your thing, man. You're in your 20s. Like, fucking do exactly what you want to do, man. You're like, your blood's boiling. You actually have strength and pride and brain power to do stuff. You're not in a walker. Just fuck them. If they don't like who. By the way, not for nothing. The 17 like loyal fans or the 100-something loyal fans you might have. You know, if you fuck over a percentage of them, it's not gonna break the bank. You know what I mean? So there's that too. But dude, you're. Like, cause you sound defeated, man. You sound like you went 10 rounds with Tyson.
I've gotten a little cynical about this stuff, but I feel better that I'm allowing myself this time to kind of reflect.
Mm-hmm.
And it's therapy and all that sort of like you kind of get comfortable talking about being defeated and don't have to portray yourself in the best light. I think it's a little more healthy than me coming on here and pretending like it's all right. Things are all right, but I got problems like anyone, and it might not be the same problems everybody has, but it's stuff that people can generally relate to. Just being insecure. I think it's totally normal.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you made something and somebody's made a comment and you're like, I know it's just one comment, but that kind of gets to me a little bit. I'm a little bit mad or a little bit sad at that. Move on.
So
it's got to happen from time to time.
So far with this podcast, no. I mean, I've gotten negative comments, trust me, but it hasn't like bothered me. Okay. However, with my old YouTube channel, 100%. Cause like I'm over here like busting my ass. At least I shouldn't say busting my ass. I'm making a fucking video, and then just like fucking blitzkrieg, and I'm just like, oh. But it was the thing that hurt the most was more so your thing, where like you think you put out a banger, and it's like your least viewed thing, or like I used to work on videos with other people. We would do collaborations. And on their channel, it would be their least viewed video. And I'm like, oh, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What'd I do?
I've had that sort of recently, I think. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a little while. Maybe it's picked up. I got to be on one of my favorite educational YouTubers channels. His name's Mr. Beat, not to be confused with Mr. Beast.
Who sucks, but yes.
It's an unfortunate distinction. I got to be in one of his videos, and at the time I don't think it did super well. I got to be, but I was more happy than not with that one, just to be invited, because it was like a big collaborative thing, and there was like a bunch of people on that I really enjoyed, and I just got to be in the same video as like, I don't know if you know any of these people, but they mean a lot to me.
No, I get it. Have you ever watched a YouTuber called Blue Jay?
Oh yeah, I found them months ago. I think I watched them on like one of my last live streams.
Yeah, he reminds me of Oversimplified, but way less. What's it called? The animation is not as polished, but also it's like R-rated, oversimplified.
Yeah. Then there's another creator called Salmonella. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Is it about chicken? Pollo. El pollo yoco.
But I think you'd actually really like him. He's very crude, very rated R,
Yes.
and he's sort of like Blue Jay is sort of Sam O Nella.
Sam. Oh, Sam O'Neill. Yeah, dude. Oh, fuck yeah.
I find Blue Jay to be kind of like the in between him and Oversimplified.
That's fair. I think Blue Jay. They're both funny, but Blue Jay, there's jokes where like I can tell. Okay, this guy's definitely younger than me, and he games way more than I do because I don't game at all. So there's jokes that I know are just passing over my head. However, the timing still makes me laugh. Like I know, like oh okay, I know that's a good joke. So like I'm already laughing at it, even though I don't understand the context at all.
Yeah.
Oh,
what was I gonna say?
You think Salmonello's more brash than Blue? Really? I haven't seen one of his videos in a few months.
He's had a few. He had one he had to take down.
Oh yeah,
about Sigmund Freud. It was something. I'm sure you can find it somewhere.
probably. But yeah, no, I know this. He's good too. I just fuck. Blue Jay. The thing that sucks about fucking Blue Jay and Oversimplified, they don't. And I know this is like me just being a fucking. I want more content, but god damn it, they don't upload enough.
Oh, but every time Oversimplified uploads,
It's a banger.
It's just
Yeah.
and it's at #1 every single time.
Yeah, he instantly gets.
I would love to do it how he does it. Like disappear for a while, come back. Something that just has everything put into it.
Well, you have to be honest with yourself, and I'm sure you are. His content, way more work goes into it with the animation and everything on top of that than just reacting to someone who does that content.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I could never do it like he does it because like I'm not an animator. I consider myself a decent editor, although I've never been able to show that off because what I do is so low quality as far as like the editing goes. Like some reactors put a little bit into the editing, but it's a lot of just like random zooming and stuff that doesn't matter too much.
Why don't you do video? I mean, again, not why don't you do it unless you don't want to? Have you ever thought of doing videos, maybe like Blue Jay or like Sam?
I've got a vision in my mind for what I want my videos to look like, and I'm just trying to see how well I can execute it. I've got a lot of the visuals figured out. There's just like a few elements that I'm trying to get put together as we speak. So we'll see what happens. I would like to do something. I like the idea of doing like long form content that really gets into like nitty gritty detail.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't be like what any of them do, because what they do is designed to be like really easy to consume, which is really good because it speaks to everyone. You don't even have to like history. But I want to try something that gets a little bit more in the weeds, and even if it's not like big like that, like if history people, if like my segment of people could latch onto it, which there's a lot of creators who make stuff that gets really stuck in the details like that, and they do just fine. If I could be that one of those people who just puts a lot into something and people find it valuable, then there we go. I'm fine with being middle of the road.
True. Also, I don't know if it's
if I'm doing something that cool.
I don't know if it's your mic that's farting or my mic, but someone's mic is making my eardrums bleed.
I'm not sure.
I think
Hold
it
on.
might have been something with my interface because it's fixed. I mean, I don't know.
Okay. If there's a problem, I can like turn my game down or something.
Nah, it's good now. So I think we're both good on our end. But yeah, like there's channels like Casually Explain or this new channel Chains FR, which I think stands for Chains for Real. Again, I'm old. Um, but it's just stick figures for the most part and shitty like, especially Casually Explain, like it's clip art animation. But again, just because the animation's bad doesn't mean you can't make a video where you still want to see the visuals of that video and the timing of the jokes are still like good. Like it, so you don't have to be this insanely expert editor to make a video that actually like has high audience retention.
Yeah, absolutely. I not familiar with the ones you just mentioned, but I get the
Ooh,
idea.
Casually Explain, like it's not about history. It's more about like everyday life situations and dealing with them. He does videos on, but they're like 5-7 minutes long, around 5-8 minutes, and they're really good. They're fucking good, Brady.
Huh. Oh, this looks kind of familiar.
Dude, I'm happy that you came on again, man.
Oh, I appreciate it. Like it's a good opportunity to explain my situation because I've never actually done it. Maybe I'll just pop this in my what is it called, the post thing, the community tab. People can listen to this because I never really, I think, gave a sufficient explanation to my audience why I was gone.
Yeah, this is kind of cool. Yeah, you could actually do that. I mean, it would also help me out. Just saying, but but no, in all realness, yeah, this is like literally an hour long explanation to your audience on what's going on. And I'm sure there are people that, in all seriousness, there are probably a good amount of people that have watched your content and also watched you and have come to like you as a person and want to know more about how you're doing and hope that you're doing well. So something like this could really help them get like a little bit more, a little bit more knowledge of what's going on with you.
Yeah, that,
Yep.
hopefully
Do.
we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming on, Brady.
No problem. Thanks for having me.